Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego here with another K1 visa, green card, K2 visa, spousal visa, you name it, live stream. Karina's busy in the back of the house. She's making dinner. She's busy. She was working all day. And I'm preparing the garage to paint the floor tomorrow. Today's Saturday, September 20th, 2025, and the time is flying by. September is going by so quickly. Soon it's going to be October, and pretty soon it's going to be Christmas, and then pretty soon you're all going to have your green cards, you're going to have your K1 visas approved, and everything's going to be peachy cream. Remember, I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't give you any legal advice. I don't work for USCIS, but I got 12 years experience doing this. I've been doing this for 12 years. I can do it in my sleep. I should probably get a job at USCIS. They could probably hire me. I know more than most immigration attorneys on green cards anyway, and K1 visas. I've helped save a lot of people from bad immigration attorneys, giving them bad advice. Okay, but remember, I'm not an immigration attorney. I got all this experience doing this. Now I got today's live stream is whatever you want to ask questions about. If you need help with your green card application, you need help filling out a form. Do you need help understanding what is the process of a K1 visa? Do you understand what the K1 visa application process is? You know, it's not just jumping on a plane, meeting somebody for a couple of weeks and coming back and filing a K1 visa. That's not the process. The process is you got to be in a relationship with somebody for at least a year. Now, immigration says you should have met each other at least once, face to face, been in each other's company at least once within 2 years before you file the K1 visa package. But is that sufficient? Is that really what immigration is looking for? Not really. What immigration is really looking for is you've made 2 trips to visit your beneficiary, you spent a lot of time together, and Jody Fairfield, a new member to this live stream and this group. Actually, Jody, welcome as a new member. Hi, Diego. Hope all is great. Everything's good. Karina's in the back. She's making some chicken or something. I've been working all day in the garage, getting the garage floor prepped. You know, first you got to clean it, then you got to degrease it, then you got to etch it with acid. And now tomorrow night, what's today, Saturday? So tomorrow night, I will paint the garage floor with this epoxy. Grinna will help me. I'll do the painting part of it. She'll be sprinkling whatever, and we're going to make the garage floor look like it was a showroom of a Mercedes-Benz dealership. That's the goal. And Jody Fairfield says, yeah, welcome aboard as a member, Jody. Now, don't forget, Jody, go into the membership videos and get my phone number and email and then put it in your phone, and then send me a text message to say, hey, Diego, this is Jody, and I've got your phone number here, and then that way I know it's you. I can save you in my cell phone. Actually, it's Karina's cell phone. I don't hardly use an iPhone, but that way we can know that you have the number. Then if you have any emergencies crop up with immigration, I'm here to help you. I solved an emergency today for one of our members. He's actually in Germany, and he had an urgent emergency with his immigration process, and I solved it in about 2 minutes and saved him from a big nightmare. It only took me 2 minutes, and he called, and Jody Fairfield, sounds fun. Where do I get your info again? Didn't hear that. Go into the private videos, the membership videos. Go into the videos that only members can see, and then look for my contact information. In fact, what I'll do tomorrow is I will make a video for the members only with my contact information again, so it's easy for you guys to find. Chris Stout, stay safe for the rioters in your city. Tear your city. It was on the news yesterday. Well, I mean, they're not rioters, okay? They are communists is what they are, okay? They're communists who don't like America. They don't like the Constitution. They don't like immigration control. They think everybody should come into this country without being vetted properly. They don't care if they have a criminal record or not. They don't care if they're carrying contagious diseases or not. These people are just nasty people, nasty communists. Okay? And they are not helping the United States of America. They are hurting the United States of America. So anyway, it is what it is, right? They're going to end up getting arrested, put in jail. They're going to get a criminal record, and then they're never going to qualify for a K-1 visa, right? Because they're going to mess up their lives. They won't be able to get jobs, etc. Jody says, "Thank you. No worries, Jody. I'm going to make a brand new video tomorrow. Maybe I'll do it tonight after the live stream, with my phone number and my email address, so you all can contact me. If you are a member, you should be able to call me and text me with your questions." Akram Hamzani, is there any changes in USCIS processing times? Well, they're getting faster. NOA 1 to NOA 2 is down to 6 months from 9 months. It's getting faster because immigration no longer has to deal with all these freaking illegal immigrants. They're getting rounded up and deported like they should be. Okay, if you want to come to this great country, come here legally. Do it the right way. Do it like you guys are doing it, the right way. Then you don't have to worry about immigration picking you up off the street and deporting your ass back to wherever it is you came from. Do it the right way. We want people to come to the United States, but you got to come here legally. Just like if I want to go live in Australia, I have to follow a process. Or Colombia. I lived in Colombia for 3 years. I had to follow a process with immigration, with Colombian immigration. Okay? I had to go for fingerprints. I had to go in front of a Colombian immigration officer. And what's this on my shirt? Look at that. It's a string. There's a process in place. So things are speeding up, Akron, which is good news. Chris Stout, what's this gold card and the new USCIS that he signed executive order yesterday? The gold card is if you are a very wealthy individual, like a company overseas. Let's suppose you're a big company in Germany or England or let's say Colombia, wherever. If you're a big company and you have, like South Korea, for example, and you want to be able to bring workers to the United States on work permits, the gold card for that company will make it a lot easier. Okay, in regards, they're not going. You still got to go through the process of the medical exam and the interview and all that jazz, the background check. But it's going to be a much more smoother, faster process for the gold card companies. So in other words, if you're like a car company in South Korea that wants to build cars in America and you become a gold card member, it's going to be a lot easier for that corporation in South Korea to bring its workers to the United States to work on electric batteries, for example. That's all it is. It's just to make it's just coming to America has become, people have seemed to think it's a right. And then we got the communists and the socialists in this country that hate the Constitution, and they seem to think that they can just do whatever they want, block federal office buildings, stand in front of immigration vehicles trying to do their job. I mean, it's insane. These people are crazy. But they're only hurting themselves. They're only hurting themselves. They're not hurting us. They're not hurting immigration officers. Well, if they do, they go to prison for a very long time. But they're only hurting themselves because if they get arrested for disruption and disorderly conduct and whatever, it goes on their record for life. And now these people are in their 20s, and then they want to try to get a job later on. Maybe they're in university. These people are getting kicked out of universities across the United States because of their behavior. It's stupid, And then they try to get a job when they're in they graduate college, hopefully, and then they try to get a job, but they got a criminal record for attacking federal officers. Stupid is as stupid does, right? Play stupid games, you get stupid toys. Bud Garcia, hello, Diego. How are you doing today? I'm good, Bud. How are you doing? I'm doing great. I got these new sunglasses from Publix. What do you? I guess they're pretty good, right? These new sunglasses. I don't know. In Florida, you need sunglasses. So Karina gave me these. I think Karina's friend from Puerto Rico gave them to Karina as a present, and then Karina let me use them today. So maybe I got to give them back to Karina. I don't know. But they're pretty nifty. I got the camera, this new camera working. I got this new microphone working, and I got this high technology going on with this YouTube channel. And who knew that one day I would create a YouTube channel to help folks with their immigration journey, getting their green cards, their K-1 visas. So I've had the channel for 5 years. And then and Karina and I were in Colombia, and she said, well, why not turn it into an immigration channel and give it to you guys as a channel to use to help you? So that's what I did. How is she doing? Well, she's doing great, bud. She's doing great. She's in class for English. She got promoted at her job where she works. She has her 2-year green card. She's going to apply for her 10-year green card in March of 2026, which is right around the corner. The immigration processing time frame is speeding up. NOA 1 to NOA 2 is now 6 months, somewhere in there. Getting a 2-year green card is 3 to 4 months, but you got to go to an interview, and you got to submit an excellent package of information. Okay, when you submit for your 2-year green card, don't make any mistakes, Mr. American Citizen Sponsor, Miss American on the 864. Immigration has taken a hard look at the affidavit of support, the 864. If you make a mistake on the family size, if you don't sign the paperwork, if you don't include your taxes, if you don't include your last tax return, your 1040, your W-2, your tax transcript, if you don't do that, then your green card is going to get denied right away. Immigration don't have time, they don't have time anymore to try to explain to you how to do this. If you don't know how to do this and you file bad paperwork, it's going to get denied. So don't make any mistakes. Immigration right now has changed into a zero tolerance for mistakes, especially on the 2-year green card application on the financial side. Now, you could make you could make a mistake on the 485 a little bit, maybe, but it's not gonna fly if you mess up the 864. Make sure you repeat the medical exam when you get to America on your K1 or your K2. You got to repeat the medical exam. You got to recertify your vaccinations too. Bud Garcia, how is the interview? How is the interview? How is what interview? The K-1 visa interview at the embassy? The 2-year green card interview? It's just an interview to make sure that you are in a real relationship and to make sure that you qualify for the benefit. Ex-tangent received the NOA 2, so you received your Notice of Action 2 letter 1 day shy of 9 months. Yeah, it's gone. It's 6 to 9 months for the NOA 2 letter. It's getting faster though. It's going to be 7 months, 6 months. Immigration don't have to concentrate on all those freaking illegal immigrants. They can concentrate on helping people come in here legally. If you're an illegal immigrant in America, my advice to you is to get on a plane and fly home to whatever country it is you came from, because pretty soon an immigration officer is going to find you, arrest you, process you, and deport you. It's going to happen. So it's better that you leave on your own voluntarily, and then that way in the future you may have a chance to come back again legally without having any issues because you deported yourself. But if you don't do that, then you're not going to come back to this country. For the last 2 months, 0 people illegally entered the United States from Mexico into the USA. 0. The border is secured. Never in our history has that ever happened. But Trump made it happen. Well, and his Homeland Security folks. You got to have a leader in the White House if you want to protect this country. And for the years and years and years, we haven't had a leader. We've had somebody collecting a paycheck. That's it. Not leading anything, creating problems, actually. But I'm here to help you get your green cards and your K1s. If you want to become a U.S. citizen, I just made a video with 100. There are 128 questions that immigration can pull from if you want to become a U.S. citizen. So there's 128 questions that immigration has in their little executive briefcase, and out of those 128 questions, they're going to pull 20 questions, and they're going to ask you 20 questions out of those 128. Out of those 20 questions, you must get 12 correct to pass. So what I did, it took me all freaking day, but I made a video that's about 50 minutes long with every single question that is in the immigration officer's little executive briefcase that he or she could ask you at the U.S. citizenship interview. I ask the question, I give the answer for all 128 questions. And you know, it's a free video. If you want to become a citizen of this country, watch the video and take a pen, take your lapis or your boligrafo and your cuaderno and escribo the information so you don't mess up becoming a U.S. citizen. You know, times are changing. USCIS is no longer a company ran by the government that's giving away K-1s or green cards. Now it's a company that is working with Homeland Security and immigration to not allow fraudulent K-1 visas or green cards to get approved. So they've done a complete turnaround. They're no longer giving them away. Now they're investigating every applicant. They're investigating every applicant, sponsor and beneficiary. Ex-tangent, still a backlog. The current processing time for an I-129F ranges from 8 to 11 months. The recently filed applications will experience longer wait times. No, it's speeding up. You believe everything you read on the USCIS website that's always out of date and never updated? It's not true. If you submit a fantastic K-1 visa application, that you've been dating the person for a year, 2 years, 3 years, you got 50 to 100 photos included, you've got 5 or 6 trips to visit the person, 3 to 5 trips with boarding passes. If you have evidence that shows you've been in a relationship for 2-3 years with plane tickets back and forth, you're going to get your NOA-2 letter in about 6 months. Not 9 months, not 11 months. The people that are getting their NOA-1 letters to NOA-2 letters in a 12-month window of time is the people that submit bad K-1 visa applications. They're lazy. They don't fill out the paperwork correctly. It gets sent back to them. They have to redo stuff. There's not enough evidence of a relationship. They submit 5 pictures, 1 trip where they stayed with the person for a week and a half, and they've known the person for 5 months. That's going to be a K-1 visa that gets denied or sent back or sits on an immigration officer's desk for a year until they decide what to do with it. If you want to get your NOA-2 letter pretty quick, submit a fantastic K-1 visa application with a ton of evidence. Karina and I, we dated each other for 3 years. I lived in Colombia back and forth for 3 years. I made 5 trips to Colombia. I lived with Karina for 6 weeks, for 5 months, for 10 and a half, 11 months. I rented an apartment in Bogota, Colombia with Karina, and I was paying the rent every month. Karina was working, and we shared our expenses. We shared our expenses for 3 years overseas in Colombia. I had 5 trips. That was why Karina got her 2-year green card in 3 months without an interview. But now, okay, you're going to have to go to an interview, whether you have that kind of evidence or not. Now it's going to be an interview. When we got to the United States, I accompanied Karina from Bogota, Colombia to Miami on this plane right here. This is a model of it anyway. Avianca 737 or 747. 747. It's a Boeing 747. It's got Colombia written all over it. That's what we flew on from Bogota to Miami. Then I rented a Jeep SUV, drove home to here. And then we started collecting evidence for Karina's 10-year green card, even before we started with the 2-year green card. Now, Karina's been in the United States a year and a half, just under, and we have evidence like this for her 10-year green card. We went on vacation to Nevada, to Arizona. I got itchy eye. And I'm going to take her on vacation again, either in January or maybe in May. I'm thinking May because the weather's better. But, you know, she got on the bank as a joint bank account holder right after she got to America. We got, you know, a year and a half of bank statements with her name on it and my name on it. Today, Karina bought the gas for the car and she bought the food at Walmart. I bought some miscellaneous stuff for around the house. When bank statements come in, okay, Karina's name and all of her expenditures are showing up on the bank statements for the last year and a half, and mine also. It's, you know, I'm paying for food one day, for gas. She's paying for food and gas one day, and all these expenditures are showing up on our bank statements. So when immigration get Karina's 10-year green card application, I got to fill out Form I-751. It's what, 12, 13 pages? I think it's 13 pages. Make sure I use the correct edition. It's an easy form to fill out because when you apply for a 10-year green card, you got to prove that you're living together, that you're happily married, and that you are commingling funds, and that you are sharing the responsibilities of married life, which is paying bills, right? So can you imagine if I was paying for all the gas all the time in the car, and there was zero record of Karina paying for gas for the car? The immigration's going to say, how does Karina get to work, for crying out loud? She never buys gas. So I buy the gas one week, she buys the gas the next week, and we trade off like that. I buy the food at Walmart one day, she buys the food at Walmart the next day, or the next week, or Publix, or Winn-Dixie, or Piggly Wiggly. We haven't shopped at Aldi yet. Aldi's a German company. They're a German supermarket, and they seem to be springing up all over the world. Actually, they're all over Germany and they're all over the USA, but we've never shopped at Aldi. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to give money to a company that sends the profits back to Germany. But I want to spend money in America. I want to make America great again. I want to spend money here in companies. I like to buy stuff from companies that are manufacturing things in America. And that's what Trump's trying to do. He wants manufacturing to come back to the USA. He's sick and tired of buying stuff from communist China. You go to Walmart and you want to buy something for the house, it's made in communist China. You know, I'm sick of that. If I want to buy something from Office Depot, I want it made in the United States. So that's just what's going on. That's how times are changing, you know. So the Russian embassy, the U.S. embassy in Moscow is closed because of the war going on between Russia and Ukraine. So it's hard for Russians to get their K-1 visas adjudicated, and it's impossible to get a K-1 visa in Russia. So if you are watching this from Russia, the Russian Federation, you know, we're glad that you're watching. And if you're trying to get a K-1 visa because you want to marry your American citizen sponsor, you're going to have to go to another country to go for your K-1 visa interview. So if let's suppose you're dating a Russian right now. I got friends from Russia. I got friends from Ukraine. They live in the neighborhood. We got Ukrainians live over here. Russians live over here. Everybody gets along just fine. The problem is Putin and Zelensky. I'm putting both in the same basket. They both are at war with each other, and somebody has to stop shooting missiles. whether it's Ukraine or Russia, somebody has to stop, right? You would think. But anyway, the U.S. Embassy in Russia, in Moscow, is closed. So if you are a beautiful Russian lady trying to come to the United States with a K-1 visa, you're going to have to go to Poland or to some other country, get a Svengen visa, I think is what it's called. Go to Malta, go some other country for your K-1 visa interview. So when your American citizen sponsor who's dating this beautiful Russian lady fills out the K-1 visa application, he can't put the consulate location in Moscow for the embassy interview. Because remember, when you fill out a K-1 visa, you got to tell immigration where do you want your beneficiary to have her scary K-1 visa interview. Well, for Karina, she's from Venezuela. My beautiful wife's from Venezuela. Venezuela's getting spanked every day by the U.S. military. Boom, 3 times. Boom, boom. Trump ain't messing around. But because Karina's from Venezuela, she got sick of that communist dictatorship, so she moved to Colombia. Thank you for that. So we met each other in Colombia, South America, and dated for 3 years. If she was in Venezuela, there's no way I'd be able to go to Venezuela and meet Karina and date her and spend 6 months in Venezuela because the Maduro communist dictator bus driver would throw me in jail. His days are numbered in Venezuela, just my opinion. He should be calling his friends up in Russia or North Korea or Cuba. Hey, have you got a spare room for me? Because Maduro's time in Venezuela is very limited. And I'm just saying that because I'm just saying that. Not that I want any harm to come to Maduro. I don't want any harm to come to anybody. But his ass needs to go and find somewhere else to live so Venezuela can be a free country again. And all his little communist friends in his little group needs to go somewhere else. Maybe go live in Cuba. They fit right in there. And then the real president of Venezuela, Edmundo, and his assistant, Maria Corina, they can start repairing the damage that the communists have done in Venezuela. And then the U.S. Embassy can reopen in Caracas, Venezuela. And then all those beautiful Venezuelan ladies who are dating Americans and who want to come to the United States, they can have their K-1 visa interviews in Caracas, Venezuela. But the first step in the process is that Maduro and his little henchmen have to leave. You know, every time one of those boats leaves Venezuela filled with all that bad stuff that's going to come to America, the United States Navy is going to take it out with a kinetic strike, which is in military translation, a missile is going to take it out. So if you're in Venezuela right now with a boat full of bad stuff that you want to bring to America, you best think twice about going to leave Venezuela, because the U.S. Navy's watching you. They know where you are, what's in your boat, and when you're at sea. And the United States Navy, my alma mater, has done a great job so far eliminating that vermin. And Maduro, as soon as he's gone, and a good government is set up in Venezuela, in Russia, in Cuba. Can you imagine if Cuba was a free country, 70 miles off the coast of Miami? Think how beautiful Cuba used to be before communism. The U.S. Embassy was open. K-1 visas were getting approved. Well, back then it wasn't K-1 visas because K-1 visas didn't come around until like the 70s. But there was an immigration process in place where Cubans could come to America and marry their American citizen sponsors. Now that's almost impossible. It's impossible. There's lots of beautiful people in the world who are enduring horrible governments. And it is what it is. But, everything's coming to a head. If you are a member of a gang in Venezuela who jumps in a boat full of bad stuff to ship to America, you're not going to make it 20 miles past the coast of Venezuela, because the U.S. Navy is going to eliminate you. It is what it is. Hopefully the U.S. Embassy will open in Caracas, and then we can get K1 visas get back processed again for the beautiful Venezuelans who, what are they going to do? You got an American citizen in love with a beautiful Venezuelan, so the Venezuelan has to come to Colombia to do all the interview and the paperwork and everything. And hopefully the Venezuelan can get across the border between Colombia and Venezuela without any hassle. It's it is what it is. But the K1 visa process is in place not to stop people from coming here and getting married to Americans. It's in place to prevent fraud. There's a lot of fraud goes on, a lot of bogus K1 visa applications, but they're getting found out. Same for green cards. If you've been in this country for 20 years and you have a green card, you got a 10-year green card, the first question I would ask you is, why are you not a U.S. citizen? If you've been in America for 20, 30 years, you got a green card, you renew it every 10 years, why have you not applied for U.S. citizenship? That's my first question. Why not? But now, if you are a 10-year green card holder and you have a DUI, if you have committed felonies, misdemeanors, if you stole candy from Walmart and got busted by the sheriff but didn't get prosecuted, all those people that did stupid stuff who are green card holders now are not going to get their green cards renewed. So let's suppose in 20 years ago you did something stupid and you got in front of a judge and you got and you're a green card holder. You got in front of a judge, you got slapped on the wrist, misdemeanor for something stupid, and then you go on vacation to your home country where you originated from. When you come back to America as a green card holder, it's now all of that information has been uploaded into the USCIS Homeland Security databases. So now if you're a green card holder with a misdemeanor offense on your record from 10 years ago, it's going to be in the computer database of the Border Patrol and Customs Enforcement. So you check in, you fly in from whatever country, you land in Miami, let's say, you give your green card, you turn in your green card and your passport, and immigration punches in. Now they have to punch in your alien registration number into the computer, and boom, there's your criminal record up there on full display for Customs and Border Patrol. Looky here. Hey, 10 years ago, you were busted for writing a bad check at Walmart. And guess what? You ain't coming back in this country. They will put you in detention, and then they will deport you, and your green card will be ran through the shredder. So when you come to America and you get your 2-year green card and your 10-year green card, stay out of trouble. Because if you don't stay out of trouble, it's going to be put into a database that is going to be global for Homeland Security, the FBI, ATF, Customs and Border Patrol, Homeland Security, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They're going to find you, especially if you travel. Oh, I got to go visit grandma. It's been 6 months. I haven't seen grandma. I got to go see grandma. And you got 2 misdemeanors on your record for stealing a box of cookies from Publix 10 years ago. And it's just a misdemeanor. But it's on your record. And now it's being updated and populated with Customs and Border and Immigration. So now they have it. Immigration now has access to the IRS accounts of illegal immigrants in this country. So if you are an illegal immigrant and you've been paying taxes with a bogus Social Security number that you got through an ITN account, immigration is going to find you. And they're going to come a knocking, and they're going to say, you see that van out there? It's time for you to get in that van, because we're taking you home to your home country. So when you come to America, we want you to come here. Trump's not blocking anybody from coming here legally. But all that the U.S. government asks of you when you get here is behave yourself. That's it. You know, you got two people right now. You got one communist running for mayor in New York, and he's a naturalized American from Uganda. And you got another communist from Minnesota, and she's a congresswoman, and she's a naturalized American. And all they do is bash the United States. They bash America. They bash Americans. They celebrate when an American who gets assassinated by getting shot, and they celebrate that because they don't agree with his opinion. Well, if you're a green card holder and you do that now, you're going to lose your green card. It's not First Amendment. It's character and respect for this country and for people, Americans. If you come here on a green card and you have no respect for this country, the Constitution, or the government, or Americans, and if you celebrate the death of an American, then your ass is going to be de-green carded. You're going to be denaturalized. You're going to be sent back home. Because America wants people who love this country, who love Americans. Let's see. We got Angel Marcia. Hi, Diego. I'm filling Form I-751. So you are lifting the conditions off of your 2-year green card. My wife and I have a child now. Well, that's good. Where is my mega pixie dust? That's a mega pixie dust salute right there. Very good. Do I need to send a copy of the birth certificate with the application? Yes, Angel. If you are lifting the conditions off of your 2-year green card with the Form I-751, you must include the birth certificate, certified copy, with your application of your child. Your child was born in America, right? Your child under the 14th Amendment becomes a U.S. citizen, right? Immigration need to know that. Immigration are going to go, oh, let's take a look at Angel Marcia. Let's see if we can adjudicate this 2-year green card application into a 10-year green card. Well, look right here. They have a child. Fantastic. A big check. You have a child. You came here legally. You got your 2-year green card. You went through all the checks and the balances, and now you have a baby who is an American citizen as per the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. Immigration need to know that. Why do we pay taxes? Well, the 16th Amendment of the Constitution says we got to pay taxes. The Constitution controls everything in this country, and the communists and the socialists don't like it because the U.S. Constitution is blocking their agenda, blocking their ability to control you as an individual. The communists and the socialists want to turn this country into a Borg collective where they control everything from when you're born to when you die. But we're a constitutional republic, and everybody has individual rights under the Constitution. Individual rights means that new baby born in the United States has individual rights as an American. That baby can grow up and register to vote, work in the government, join the military, and immigration is going to see that Angel Marcia has a baby with their family, got a husband and wife, have a baby in America. You got to include that information in the 751 paperwork. On the Form 751, they ask you if you have any children, okay? But your child's already a U.S. citizen, so you don't have to be filing any. You don't have to include the child actually on the 751, because you only include the child on the 751 if they came in on a K2, and you want to file for 2 green cards at the same time, which you can do on a 751, as long as the child came in at the same time as the parent or within 90 days. Angel Marcia, thank you, Diego. God has been good, Diego. Yeah. I can't give Mountain Dew salutes anymore because my doctor told me I can't drink Mountain Dew or Coke anymore because the sugar was just clogging up all my blood. So I'm doing a lemon water salute with a cup we bought at the Gulf Breeze Zoo. It says 50 acres of wild adventure in Florida. I fed the giraffes at the Gulf Breeze Zoo, which we did. Mountain Dew salute without Mountain Dew. Now, Mountain Dew never once paid me a dime for giving them Mountain Dew salutes. I did it for free. I do this channel for free. I'll give you all this information for free. Unless you're a member like Jody and Chris, they pay a monthly subscription so they can call me and text me if they have an emergency with immigration. Like one of our members today had at 7 o'clock this morning, had an emergency with immigration. He texts me, Diego, I know you're probably still sleeping. I got an emergency or something. I said, boom, I called him right away. I said, what's going on? And he said, this was a problem here. I solved the problem in 2 minutes. And now he's going to sleep restful tonight in Germany with his fiancée, knowing that I fixed his immigration problem. And the reason he called was because he has my phone number. How did he get my phone number? He's a member of the channel, $9.99 a month. And the only reason I ask for people to pay a monthly subscription of $9.99 is so I know who's got my phone number and email address. It's not because I want your money. I'd rather do it for free. But I got to keep a track. And the only way I know who's got my phone number and email address, which protects this channel from those hackers out there, is by charging a subscription. And that was an idea from YouTube. So it's working out well. I'm saving people from losing their green cards and K1 visas. And, I get a little bit of extra cash, which I can use at Hardee's to go buy Karina breakfast. Angel Marcia, yeah, I can't drink Mountain Dews anymore. So I give you, this is it's lemon chopped up with water. Because the sugar content of the Mountain Dews and the Cokes I was drinking was basically sending my blood into a tizzy. When I was in Colombia with Karina, living with her in our apartment, I couldn't buy Mountain Dew. They don't sell Mountain Dew in South America, so I couldn't get it in Colombia. But I could drink Coke in Colombia. And then I was drinking Coke here, and it's just basically high sugar content. So once I quit drinking Coke and Mountain Dew, I lost 20 pounds. I just dropped 20 pounds in weight. I got a little bit of fat, but that's okay. I guess I can't get rid of all of it. I wish I could. So if you have a baby, if you come to America on a green card or a K1 visa, spousal visa, whatever, you have a baby, include that birth certificate in the when you lift the conditions off of your 2-year green card, include that birth certificate of your child in that 10-year green card application. Okay? Now you got to get the birth certificate certified from the clerk of the court. You cannot get the birth certificate, make a copy at the library, and include it in the 10-year green card application. You have to go to the clerk of the court and get a certified copy from the clerk of the court, and then staple the clerk of the court's business card to the bottom right-hand corner of the birth certificate, and then put that in your 10-year green card application. And that is a big check with immigration to say, yeah, this person came to America, and now they've started a family, and that's going to help your 10-year green card get approved significantly. It's a huge plus, okay? But don't be having babies just because you're trying to get a 10-year green card. You have a baby because you're with your husband and you want to have a baby and start a family. Big difference. When you get to the United States, first thing you're going to do is to print your I-94. Get 5 or 6 copies of your I-94. Okay. Once you have 5 or 6 copies of your I-94, then go get your social security number. Unless you're a K2. If you're a K2 in the United States, you cannot get the social security number until you apply for it on the 485. So you come to America, K1s. You get your I-94. You get your Social Security card. Then you start collecting evidence for your 2-year green card. Try to get all the evidence collected within 60 days and try to apply for the 2-year green card within 60 to 70 days of arriving as per the I-94. If you do all the things I'm telling you, you're going to get your green card a lot quicker. And submit tons of evidence. The day before you submit for your 2-year green card, go take some pictures with a bunch of friends. And include that. You get pictures with a bunch of friends the day before you file for the 2-year green card. On the photograph, you write the names of the people, the date the picture was taken, and where. Put it in your application for your 2-year green card. Angel Marcia, now what about the form I-94? Do I need to include that too? No. Angel Marcia, when you apply for a 10-year green card, you don't have to repeat the medical exam. You don't have to include a copy of the K-1 visa. You don't have to include the I-94. You don't have to include a copy of the NOA-2 letter. Those are things that you need for the 2-year green card. But once you get the 2-year green card, immigration, when they receive your 2-year green card, you included the I-94, the K-1 visa copied from your passport, the NOA-2 letter, right? You included all that in your green card application. Immigration copies and scans that paperwork and puts it into their database. So now, under your record of immigration, the marriage certificate, most definitely. You got to include the marriage certificate for the 10-year green card. Most definitely. But you got to get a certified copy from the clerk of the court. So if you are applying for a 10-year green card, you're going to need a certified copy of the marriage certificate. So the clerk of the court prints the marriage certificate from their trusty computer. He or she then stamps it and signs it and dates it as a certified copy. And then you staple a copy of the clerk of the court's business card to the marriage certificate. That goes in the 10-year green card application. If you have a divorce under your belt or two, certified copies of divorce decrees must go in the 10-year green card application. So if you have a divorce or a marriage annulment, or your husband passed away or your wife passed away, you got a death certificate, you got to get certified copies from the clerk of the court. Put them in the 10-year green card application. What paperwork don't you need for a 10-year green card paperwork? What paperwork don't you need? You don't need the I-94. You don't need a copy of the K-1 visa. You don't have to repeat the medical exam. You don't have to put in there the vaccination records. None of that's required. But you do need certified copy of the marriage certificate, the 751, birth certificates certified, divorce decrees certified, annulments, death certificates, evidence of your 2 years together living under the same roof, driver's licenses, Sam's Club cards, library cards, proof of health insurance. You got Angel Marcia, when you file for the 10-year green card, you got to prove you got health insurance. You got to prove that you are commingling funds. You got at least 20 or 15 bank statements showing both of your names on the bank statements. Both of your names. Now, what I did the other day was when my credit card number got ripped off by some low-life thief, which, my bank's always monitoring my credit card. Some low-life took my credit card number and tried to use it to buy KFC and Uber, and used it as an Uber. They even tried to create an Apple card so they can stop paying their phone bill off of my freaking credit card number. Well, my bank is so powerful, they caught it immediately and blocked it within seconds. Okay? The only way I can buy anything online with my credit card is from this computer, because my bank has this ISP address. So anyway, I didn't have my credit card. I was waiting for a new one to come in. So I put Karina's name on the trash bill with her credit card. So now when the bill comes in for the credit card, Karina gets billed for it on her name, on the bank statement. So the bank statement's showing Karina's name for the paying for the trash pickup. Immigration's going to see all this. You got all that covered, Angel. Well, good job. You're doing great, Angel. You got certified copy of the marriage certificate, any divorce decrees. You got to be on the bank statements. You got to be on the bills. You got to show proof of cohabitation. You got to have driver's licenses for both of you. Karina has her Florida driver's license. I got my Florida driver's license. You get a piece of white paper, and you put both driver's licenses on the white paper. You take a picture with your cell phone, download it to your phone, upload it, and print it. And then you got a picture printed of both of your driver's licenses, showing that you're both at the same address, right? Blow the picture up big so immigration can read it and see it. Just think of it this way. When you apply for your 10-year green card, you have to provide 2 more years worth of evidence on top of all the evidence you provided for your K-1 visa and the 2-year green card. That's what you're doing. And it's going to take about 21 months for the 10-year green card to get adjudicated, 20 to 21 months, somewhere in there. But the good news is your 2-year green card, even though it's expired, is going to be extended for, I think it's 36 months to 48 months. I think it's probably 48 months. They give you an extension on it. So when you submit your 10-year green card paperwork, they will send you a letter, an I-797 notice of action letter saying, we received your 10-year green card application. This letter is now extending your 2-year green card for 3 years or 4 years, whatever it says in the letter, until we adjudicate your 2-year to your 10-year green card. So you're going to put the letter, the 797, which has extended your 2-year green card with your 2-year green card, and you're going to put them together like they're married to each other, and you're going to carry them around with you. Remember, you have to carry your green card around with you wherever you go. If you decide you want to take your pet dog for a walk around the neighborhood, for a 2-mile walk, so the doggy can go to the bathroom, bring your green card with you. If you're walking around your neighborhood, you're walking your dog, put your green card in a little purse or a little cartera, put it in your pocket, zip it up, and carry it with you. I don't care what you're doing. If you're at your job, if you're at your day job, like Karina has a fantastic job, her green card is with her. So if Immigration and Customs Enforcement decide to go into the business where Karina works, and they say, I want to see all of your evidences here, company, that you are hiring legal permanent residents. And I want to see everybody's green card. Karina has her green card, here it is. If Karina's green card was in the car, in the parking lot, outside, or if Karina's green card was at home here with me, she would be detained because she couldn't prove she was in the United States legally. Carry your green card wherever you go. If you go for a walk around the block to walk the dog, if you're going to go to the gym to work out, if you're going to the store to buy groceries, if you're going to work, if you're going to do wherever you go, your green card needs to be with you. So if you have the misfortune of being pulled over driving down the road by a police officer because you're speeding or something stupid, or the first thing that the police in Florida anyway is they're going to check your immigration status. Carry your green card with you. And don't get a speeding ticket. Stay out of trouble, because speeding tickets are going to can be used against you if you get a bunch. If you get 3 or 4 speeding tickets, that can be used against you for U.S. citizenship. Don't do it. Just drive the speed limit. Everybody can be, if they're in a big hurry, if somebody's behind you when you're driving, you're a green card holder, you're driving on the highway or in town, and somebody behind you's in a big freaking hurry, and they're up on your butt, tailgating you because you're going the speed limit. Keep going the speed limit. Don't speed up for that jerk. That jerk can wait. You keep driving the speed limit. You don't want to get pulled over by the sheriff or the county police or the parish police if you're in Louisiana. You don't want to get pulled over and get in and then become a red flag for immigration. If the person behind you is sitting too close to your butt because you're going the speed limit, pull over, let them go around you. but don't break any laws on the highways. There's a lot of crazy people out there who are impatient. You're going 70 on the interstate and you're in the right lane, and there's always that idiot that wants to come right up on your butt, on your rear, and then go around you because they want to go 90. Well, don't be that person. Okay? It's common sense. You guys know this already. I don't need to be telling you this. You know this already. But I'm just trying to put information out there so that you don't make stupid mistakes. Because your objective is to become a U.S. citizen. Once you become a U.S. citizen, you don't have to fill out any more freaking paperwork for immigration. It's all done. You don't have to worry about it. You become a U.S. citizen, what are you going to do? You're an American citizen. You got your naturalization certificate right in front of you. That's gold, right? That's a piece of gold paperwork. You got your naturalization certificate. On your naturalization certificate, there's your alien registration number. That's always going to be with you for the rest of your life. Even though you're a U.S. citizen, you're still going to have an alien registration number. It's on your naturalization certificate. What are you going to do? What's the first thing? First thing you're going to do is you're going to drive down to the Social Security Administration. You may have to set an appointment, depends where you live. Go to the Social Security office with your naturalization paperwork, and you go in and you sit down in front of the Social Security Administrator and say, I'm an American citizen now. Update my Social Security record. So the Social Security person will go into their computer and change you from legal permanent resident to U.S. citizen. So when you get to the age 62 and you apply for Social Security, you don't have to jump through a bunch of hoops with immigration trying to prove you're a citizen. My nose is itchy. My eyes is itchy. Do you see what I'm saying? So what else are you going to do? You become a U.S. citizen. What else? You're going to go to the driver's license, the DMV. You're going to go to the DMV and you're going to update your status as a U.S. citizen with the Department of Motor Vehicles. Do you see what I'm telling you guys? You learn a lot on this channel, right? You learn a lot. You're learning how not to be stupid when you get your green card, or how not to mess up your paperwork when you want to apply for a K-1 visa. How not to mess up your K-1 visa interview at the embassy or the consulate. How not to mess up your green card interview for your 2-year green card. Now, if you submit a fantastic 10-year green card application like, you're fixing to do here, right, Angel? If you submit a fantastic 10-year green card application that's just full of evidence, it's a 90% chance you won't have to go for another interview. But you can't be lazy. Lazy people get lazy results, all right? And then they start crying why their green card was denied. They start crying like baby. Yeah, my green card was denied. Why was that? Well, I got a DUI 2 years ago. I stole a bunch of stuff from Walmart and got arrested by the sheriff. I got 5 speeding tickets in 6 months. Stuff like that. Don't be making stupid mistakes. A lot of people, when they fill out their K-1 visa application, get in a big hurry. They fill out the form I-129F, but they mess up some of the. They can't even spell their beneficiary's name correctly. So what does immigration do when they go over your K-1 visa application? They look at the name of the person on the I-129F, and they match that name to the passport that you've included, a copy of the passport, biographic page, blown up nice and big in color. They look at the date of birth on the passport and they compare it to the date of birth you put on the K-1 visa. So if you get in a big hurry and you fill out the K-1 visa application and you transpose the numbers on the date of birth for your beneficiary, and you don't realize it, and immigration's going to catch it when they look at the passport date of birth. They're going to say it doesn't match the pay. They're going to send everything back to you. If you don't, let's suppose you're dating somebody from Thailand and her name is like this long, and she uses a nickname to make it easier for communication. That's fine. But when you fill out the K-1 visa application, you got to use her real name without making any stupid typos or spelling mistakes. So before you submit the K1 visa application, you got to go over every page with a fine-tooth comb to make sure you didn't make any mistakes on the date of birth, on the name. Let's suppose you're filling out an application and they ask in the I-129F for your beneficiary's mother's name or father's name. Let's go with father. Let's suppose you're from, I don't know, you're from Ecuador and you don't know who your dad is. But on the I-129F, they ask for the father's name, date of birth, and place of birth. But you don't know who your dad was. It happens. Happens in America. So what do you put on the I-129F? You put unknown. Put unknown. 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 You don't know. Unknown. If you don't really know, if you honestly don't know, put that in there. Let's suppose you're from Colombia, okay, and your parents passed away and you were adopted from another family when you were 7 years old and you're Colombian living in Colombia. What name are you going to put on the I-129F? Because now, Mr. American Citizen Sponsor, you're dating this person who was adopted at 7 years old by a different Colombian family. And maybe the girl, the 7-year-old who is now 25 years old, took the last name of the person who adopted her. Was it done legally? If it was done legally through the Colombian courts, then when you fill out your new beneficiary's name, you're gonna have to make sure you don't mess it up. You got to make sure you use the right name. The adopted name, okay, you use the adopted name, but you also have to put the name that she was before she was adopted. And then what if the child doesn't know her parents because they passed away when she was 7 years old? You're going to fill out the K1 visa application. Mother's name, unknown. Father's name, unknown. Adopted by this person and this person. It can get complicated. And I can decomplicate it for you so you don't screw it up. Albertine Umahosa Murasira. Hello, I'm Albertine from Rwanda. Hello, Albertine in Rwanda. My interview is on the 30th, and I'm currently pregnant, and you can't do an X-ray if you're pregnant, and you can't do vaccinations if you're pregnant due to my condition, but I have a recommendation. Do you think it will affect my visa? No, it won't affect your visa at all. Here's the thing, Albertine. So you are pregnant right now in the beautiful country of Rwanda, correct? And you're telling me you're probably about 7 months along? How far along are you? And the civil surgeon in Rwanda has said to you, you cannot have an X-ray for a tuberculosis check because you're pregnant, and you can't have certain vaccinations because you're pregnant, correct? And you're 8.5 months pregnant, so there's no way you can have an X-ray. You don't want to get gamma rays going through your body if you're 8.5 months pregnant. So what's going to happen is the civil surgeon who does your medical exam is going to annotate on the 693 that you've been waived from the X-ray because you're 8.5 months pregnant, and you have been waived from some of the vaccinations. But it has to be documented on the 693 and on the vaccination paperwork. Okay? And you're asking, how long does it take for the baby to get her passport? Well, you got to have where are you planning on having the baby? So you're having your interview is on the 30th. The 30th of what? Your interview is on the 30th of September, October, November. You're telling me you're 8.5 months pregnant. That's congratulations, by the way. You're in Rwanda because you're going for a K1 visa interview on the 30th of what month? So if you go for your K1 visa interview on the 30th of, let's say, September, you're going to be close to delivery, right? You're going to be close to delivery. I'm having the baby here in Rwanda, and my interview is on the 30th of September. Okay, why? Okay, so I'll answer the question for you. You have the baby in Rwanda. Make sure that your fiance's name, your American citizen sponsor's name, is on the birth certificate. Your American citizen sponsor's name has to be on the birth certificate with your name. Then you take the birth certificate to the U.S. Embassy in Rwanda or consulate, and you register the baby as a U.S. citizen. Once you do that, the baby is not going to be requiring a K2 visa. The baby will be given a U.S. passport. It will take about probably 6 to 8 weeks to get the passport issued. But there's a possibility that you may have to have a DNA test done to identify the baby as belonging to you and your American citizen sponsor. It's not that they don't trust you. It's just part of the process that's going on across the world. So you're going to have the baby in Rwanda. Very good. Once you have passed your K1 visa interview, you will explain to the immigration officer that you're about ready to deliver a baby, and the immigration officer will congratulate you. Then once you get your K1 visa approved, you turn in your passport. They take your passport, and the K1 visa is good for 6 months from the date of your medical exam. So whenever you had your medical exam in Rwanda for the K1 visa, that's when the clock started. Okay, that's when the clock started for your K1 visa being good. So you go to your interview on the 30th of September. You pass the interview. They take your passport. Give them about a week or so to process your passport. Then you have to remember that your K1 visa is only good for 6 months from the date of the medical exam that you had for your K1 visa. You understand what I'm telling you? Then you're going to have 6 months from the date of the medical exam to get your child a U.S. passport. The U.S. Embassy will process the child's passport pretty quickly. So Albertine, so if I understood you well, I can finish my medical exam after giving birth. That's not what I said. But meanwhile, I can do the interview, no problem. Here's what you could do. You can also have you can do your medical exam after you give birth. What does the civil surgeon tell you? You have to go to your K1 visa interview with an explanation as to why you didn't have your medical exam. That explanation has to come from the civil surgeon that does the medical exams in Rwanda for folks in Rwanda coming to America. So what you need to do is contact the civil surgeon, the doctor, and have the doctor conduct your medical exam as much as he can or she can, excluding the x-ray and the vaccinations. If the doctor excludes you from the vaccinations and the x-rays, then immigration may accept that and issue you your K1 visa without having to do the medical exam over. Okay? But when you get to the United States with your child, that's when you can repeat the medical exam. That's when you redo the vaccination certifications, before you apply for the 2-year green card. But the doctor controlling your case is a civil surgeon that's hired by the State Department. Talk to your civil surgeon, ask the doctor, hey, can you process my medical exam for my K1 visa even though I'm 8.5 months pregnant? The doctor's going to make a decision. The doctor may say to you, go to your K1 visa interview, and after you give birth, then we'll do the medical exam. Or the doctor may say to you, we'll do the medical exam, and when you get to the United States, you can do the repeat medical exam. Your goal, your objective is to pass the K1 visa interview, give birth to your beautiful baby, get your beautiful child a U.S. passport, and then listen to what the doctor tells you and to what immigration tells you. The immigration officer may issue you your K1 visa with a waiver for your medical exam because of your pregnancy. It could happen, okay? But you're not going to get around the medical exam. You're either going to have it in Rwanda after you give birth, or you're going to have it in the United States once you get here. But either way, that's the way it's going to be. You can't get out of the medical exam. But in my opinion, what I think is going to happen is if the doctor signs off on a waiver for you on your 693 that says you're 9 months pregnant, you can't have the medical exam right now, recommend that you have it in the United States once you get here, you're good to go. Then all you got to worry about is, it's not worry about, but all you got to do is the paperwork for your child's U.S. passport. And the way to do that is you got to bring the birth certificate to the U.S. Embassy, and you got to have your name on the birth certificate and your U.S. citizen sponsor's name on the birth certificate, and you have to have a blown up copy of your sponsor's U.S. passport to prove he's a U.S. citizen, although you've already done that with the green card and the K1 visa process, but bring it anyway, just as backup, and be prepared for a DNA test, which could take maybe 6 to 6 weeks. But other than that, what's going to happen is you're going to pass your K1 visa interview, you're going to give birth to your beautiful child, you're going to get your baby a passport, U.S. passport, and then you're going to fly to America and repeat and do the medical exam here with the vaccinations. And then you're going to apply for your green card. Good advice, right? I'm telling you, I'm keeping you on the right path so you don't mess this up. I got 12 years doing this. I know every scenario that could possibly happen, and I got it covered for you guys. I've got every single scenario covered for you guys, so you get your green card and your K1 visas approved. There is not one problem that I can't overcome, other than if you don't qualify for the benefit. With that said, I want to congratulate Albertine on her future baby coming soon, on her K1 visa application getting approved, on arriving into the United States of America, getting your 2-year green card, then get your 10-year green card, then become a U.S. citizen. See you guys at the next live stream. Today's Saturday, right? I think Saturday. Albertine, thank you so much. Everything is clear. That's right. I took you out of the maze, right? And thank you so much for the congratulations. MAGA pixie dust for your new baby and for you and your family. And a salute to your family in Rwanda. A salute to everybody. And I'll see you guys on the next live stream. Monday at 6 p.m. Unless I take a day off, but I don't usually do that.